This is getting to be a habit, having one particular WTOL 11 staffer on Good Day every Thursday, it seems.
Or two. We were talking about this here. This is the part I'm really geeked out about. Well, we can't deny that Tim Miller takes us to some amazing places. And this week, Tim, a museum that it seems kind of belongs. Maybe you see these in other parts of the country, but we've got one right here in Northwest Ohio.
Yeah.
We do, and Ryan, I know you're big into the Civil War.
Yeah.
Sure.
We talk about it a lot in the mornings, but I heard about the American Civil War Museum of Ohio in Tiffin, downtown Tiffin, and I'm like, I've been to a lot of museums, Gettysburg, all over the country, really, and I thought, let's find out about this one that's local. So it's downtown Tiffin on Washington Street.
Okay.
And we got a tour from Jan Dundor, who's one of the, I don't call it, a docent is someone who gives the tours, but she's more than that. She helps organize it, she and her husband. And it was great. They have 8 exhibits, about 10,000 square feet of exhibits. We have some video we want to show you here. We'll get a little bit more on this flag in a moment, but this was my favorite part of the museum there. And there were a lot of people that came by when we were there. It's an old post office. You can see it here, a couple shots
so that's
here.
a good-sized building.
Yeah.
It really is. It's an old post office. It has some columns on the front that are reminiscent of kind of the Lincoln Memorial. And it actually used to be a classroom at one point, too. So they have some visitors come into the museum that say, I had class in that room and this and that. But yeah, it's a nonprofit that they've been there since 2011. And just a lot of different exhibit rooms. And we were there for a long time. I was like...
Tim was reading every single word on every single placard.
Tim was the classic dad. I would be the same way. Like the rest of the family is like 3 rooms ready to go, and I'm still in the first room reading every plaque.
Right, and this is, let's talk about this. Is a 35-star national flag. So there is a leather trunk right here. You'll see it right here from a Mr. Drown. And folks who owned that leather trunk invited the museum to come out and pick it up. And they said, when the gentleman arrived to pick it up, they said, hey, you know, I don't know if you'd want to look at this. We have a flag up in the attic. I don't know if you'd be interested in there. Of course we would be. So it was a flag that was part of the 164th OVI, the Ohio Volunteer Infantry. And this flew at headquarters, I believe maybe in Washington, D.C. They were involved in protecting the Capitol during the Civil War. So they're like, yes, we'd love to have this flag. And you can see at the bottom, you can see the bottom, it's tethered. Might have been in some skirmishes, so it wasn't in like Gettysburg or any of the big other battles, Antietam or anything like that. But they're like, sure, we'd love to have this flag.
That's so cool. And then obviously a whole bunch of other memorabilia or artifacts, if you want to call it that.
Look at this one. This is a section on Lincoln's call to arms. And we found out from Jan, who gave us the tour, that he would go on the telegraph, or whoever was getting the telegraph come in for a battle that's coming up, he would say, is Ohio involved? Lincoln would want to know if Ohio soldiers were involved. And if they told him that they were, he like, I think we're going to have a good outcome. Because he knew they fought hard. And he knew that they would do a good job. They have an old newspaper there from Tiffin that had a lot of pro-Lincoln propaganda in there, so it wasn't a down-the-middle journalism kind of thing. And there's a nice clock that they have inside kind of commemorating this was a post office.
And Ohio obviously had a lot of soldiers in the Civil War, and it wasn't just fighting in, you talked about Gettysburg in the quote-unquote Eastern Theater over there by Washington, D.C. There was a lot, obviously, with the Western Army as well in other parts of the country.
Yes, the big battles in Tennessee, like Chickamauga. I think they were at Stones River as well. And I love this. They have a couple cannons out front. Look at these columns from this
a beautiful building.
Post office, and what a perfect place for a Civil War museum, right?
And as you said, very reminiscent there. It looks very Washington.
Right. I will say they do have, this wasn't one of them, this was the Bonnie Blue flag, which was one of the flags the South flew, but they do have some Confederate flags there too. And that was Jan we would talk to, and I asked her, you know, do you get people questioning why you have them there? And she said, we have to show both sides here. So I might not agree with what it stood for, but they do have a section of some Confederate battle flags. And this was an artillery jacket actually worn by a soldier that was donated to the museum.
Well, it's in great shape.
It really is. And I've been to some museums that have, you can see a bullet hole in them from when a general or somebody was shot. So this one did not, but they have bullets there. They have hands-on exhibits too. You know, you go to a museum, you're always told as a kid, you can't touch it. You can't touch this flag because this is very important. Look how it's tethered at the bottom there. But there are sections in the Civil War Museum where kids can try on uniforms from the North and the South. They can put the hats on. You saw the one hat there.
And really get them engaged.
Exactly.
Because that's how you're going to get kids. Well, both of you are really interested in history, but what was that sparked for you?
I think with me, it kind of started with Lincoln. I just
Yeah.
really started reading a lot about Abraham Lincoln as a kid. And I know this is something I did in my younger years in journalism. I would drive with my dad down to the South, drop off resume tapes at warmer climates because I
Yes.
was in Erie, Pennsylvania at the time.
Yes.
Drop off resume tapes and go to Civil War battlefields with them. So it's
Wow.
one of the great memories that I have.
Yeah,
with
with
them.
him. Wow.
Super
And
cool.
You've been going to these for years.
Yeah, love learning everything about it. As a kid growing up, we have a portrait of one of my ancestors from Henry County that was that fought with Ohio during the Civil War, and then learning where their unit went to some of those battles you talked about. And so
I would always ask Ryan, what did you find out today about your relatives?
Yeah. Wow.
And I
so
have one too that was in the Bucktails in Pennsylvania that I want to get some more research done about.
But you can learn a whole lot in Tiffin. This is not far from us here in downtown Toledo. When are they open?
They're open Wednesdays through Saturdays,
Okay.
noon to 4. You can do some after hours visits as well. They just ask that you kind of make a reservation
Okay.
and let them know about that. There's a small charge to get in, but they do a great job down there. Ask for Jan when you get down
Yeah.
there. They,
Oh, yeah.
She knows
they
the
take
stuff.
kids through there as well. And they have, when you first walk in the old post office
Yeah.
there, they have one of those maps, you know how people put pins where
Yes.
they visited before? They have people that have visited from South America, Asia,
Wow.
Europe. They hear about the museum. It's kind of like a destination.
Cool.
So it's a place we can go, but you're going
Yes.
to take us there on WTOL 11 Plus.
Yeah, it's on WTOL Plus right now. 11 Plus which is doing well there, and on our YouTube channel as well. But
you
of
can
course,
see
we
the
want you to go there
full
too.
story and watch the whole thing.
Go
All right.
visit them.
Yeah, cool.
Very good.
Thanks,
Well,
Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.